In an earlier video, I digressed somewhat to give you a bit of background about supplements. That video was made about 4 years ago. I said I would follow it up with another one showing how supplements should be made. This video today was also filmed about 4 years ago. In it, I referred to our new facility being built 3 years earlier, which is now 7 years ago, as at May 2020. I hope that you find it interesting. If it raises any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. So here it is. Last week, I gave you some general background on the supplement industry and touched on the reasons why we sometimes hear negative reports about them in the media and why these reports are usually invalid. This week, I'm going to take you inside our own facility to show you how supplements should be made. We purpose-built this facility about 3 years ago, and it is state-of-the-art. But as you will see shortly, it takes more than just a good building to make a good product. There are many high-quality facilities around the world producing dietary supplements which are at pharmaceutical standards, similar to what I'm about to show you. Unfortunately, there are also many facilities that should be shut down through the use of substandard equipment, processes, and hygiene. But that's another story for another day. Before I start, I should mention about regulatory standards for the manufacture of dietary supplements. If you were to believe some people who are vocal in the media, you would think that there were none, particularly in the USA. That could not be further from the truth. There are a very robust set of GMP regulations in place in the US, developed by the US FDA. Although by law, all manufacturers should comply, there are a significant percentage of manufacturers in the US who still do not comply. The problem is that the enforcement by the FDA is not as good as it should be. But I know that they are getting further resources, and no doubt enforcement will continue to improve. As a New Zealand manufacturer, we cannot risk not being compliant, otherwise our products could be stopped at the border. So what you're about to see is how products should be produced if the manufacturer is in compliance with the regulations. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Raw ingredients. If you don't have quality raw ingredients, you cannot have a quality finished product, period. The decision as to where to source the raw ingredient from is made well in advance to the ingredient arriving in our factory. We thoroughly research the manufacturer of each ingredient to ensure that they meet the quality criteria that we have established. This may also require an on-site audit of their facilities. The standard of the manufacturer is more important than where they are located. We use ingredient suppliers from New Zealand, Australia, USA, Canada, South America, several countries in Europe, Malaysia, India, and China. No matter how good or reliable the manufacturer of the ingredient may be, we still put every ingredient through a series of tests when they arrive at our factory. These tests involve taking samples of each ingredient and sending them to specialist labs around the world. Not only do we test for contaminants, we also test for identity and potency. In other words, is the ingredient exactly as it says on the certificate of analysis? And does it have the correct amount of active ingredients at the right potency? Some ingredients we're able to test in our own laboratory, but most of them go to specialist labs. Whilst we're waiting for the results, the ingredients are stored in a separate quarantine area pending release. Because of the care that we take in selecting manufacturers, we don't have many tests fail, perhaps 20 a year, in which case we send the ingredients back to the manufacturer and refuse to accept them. When the ingredients are clear for use, they are taken out of quarantine and put into our general store. They are then available for use in production. Now, the next step in the process when we are ready to manufacture a product is for our QA department to prepare all the documentation for that particular batch. There is a lot of documentation which sets out the processes for each batch. Now, let me take you into our factory so you can see what happens next. Here is Andrew, our production manager, and as with a number of our other staff, he has been with us for more than 10 years and keeps our production flowing nicely. Now, to get into the factory, we have to go through an airlock because of the pressurization systems. We also need to change into suitable clothing to prevent any potential contamination getting into the factory. The air control system is a very important part of the factory as it prevents cross-contamination by controlling pressure in various areas. Also, the filtering system makes the air as clean as a hospital operation theatre. Now we're inside the factory. Our raw ingredients get into the factory from the warehouse via this airlock system. Now the first step when the ingredients are in the factory is to weigh each of them out in the quantities needed for the particular product being produced. The weighed out ingredients are put together in specific groups as set out in our blending protocols. When the ingredients are being weighed, they are double checked for accuracy. Now this requires 2 people to perform this process and sign off on each ingredient that is weighed out. The next step is to blend the ingredients. Now this is where Xtend Life's process is quite different to most other manufacturers. Rather than putting all the ingredients in a blender or mixer and stirring them up for 20 minutes, which is the norm, we go through a very systematic process of adding ingredients into the blender in a specific order. This takes several hours for our most complex products such as Total Balance. And it's a bit like baking a cake, a really big cake. We also use a different type of mixer which is called a 3D blender, which ensures all the ingredients are mixed evenly. Now you've no doubt heard of reports which have said that someone's supplements contain either too much of an ingredient or too little. This can often happen because not enough care was taken at the blending stage, and so the active ingredients in the tablets can vary from one to another. This does not happen with our process. We validate the mixing process for each product by doing extensive tests with dummy product and specific markers that we test in the lab for uniformity. After the blending is complete, we take the mix through to the rooms where we either encapsulate or tablet the products. After this, in the case of our flagship product, Total Balance, we begin the process of enteric coating. Now this is something that is very rare in the supplement industry because it is a complex and expensive process. What this process does is put a special coating on the tablets to protect the ingredients from being damaged by stomach acid. Now this coating is natural and vegetable based and works on the pH in the digestive system. What this means is that it will not be affected by stomach acid, but when the tablet passes into the upper intestine, which is alkaline, the tablet quickly dissolves and the ingredients are able to pass through the walls of the intestine and into the bloodstream to be transported to our cells. After the enteric coating process is complete, the tablets are sorted to remove any broken ones prior to going through to our bottling line. This is a state-of-the-art line and the counting system is highly accurate. There may be 1 in 1,000 bottles that the count might be out by 1 tablet or capsule. So we set the counters to supply 1 extra, just in case, so that our customers never get shortchanged by even 1 tablet. After the bottling process is complete, the finished product is put into quarantine, pending the release of further testing for both micros and heavy metals. We're not required by regulation to test for heavy metals at this stage, and it's probably unnecessary because we test all raw ingredients for these at the point they came into the factory. But we do it anyway, just as a further precaution. Although all raw ingredients are tested for contamination prior to being used, the finished product is also tested again just in case there's been a slip-up during manufacture and there was some contamination. In our almost 16 years of history, we've never had a negative result on a finished product. Whilst we're waiting for the test results to come back, we also test the tablets for dissolution, which we do in our own lab. We simulate the acid environment of the stomach and the alkaline environment of the upper intestine to confirm that the tablet is protected from the stomach acid and breaks down rapidly in the intestines. So that in its simplest form is how the supplements are made. I did not show you how we make our superfood or skincare products. I will show you that in a future episode. Whilst we're here today, let me quickly show you the rest of our facility, which you haven't seen as yet. You've already seen our QA department, so let's start with where we ship your products after you order online. Our staff in this department collate all the orders and prepare them for shipping all around the world. We service customers in about 40 different countries, with about 75% of the orders going to the USA. We always ship the orders the same business day, or if they come late in the day, then they get shipped the next business day. Okay, let me give you a quick intro to the other departments. Along here, we have new product development, project management, purchasing, IT, and e-commerce. Across the hall here, we have our customer relations team, and along here, our administration, and of course, our reception. Now, don't ask me where my office is. I don't have one, as I travel so much and tend to work virtually, but I use the boardroom when I'm in New Zealand. This is where I do most of the filming for these episodes. Well, there you are, a quick tour of how supplements are made. If you would like to know more about this, you're always welcome to get in touch with me through our website at xtendlife.com and ask me anything that you like. Until next week, take care.